You do not need to speak loudly to be heard. You do not need to enter a room for people to feel your presence. Just like the sun does not announce its arrival, yet all things respond to it. A powerful aura is silent but unmistakable. In this world, energy speaks before words. You meet someone and you either feel pulled or repelled. You don't know why, but you know that is aura. Aura is not something you buy, not something you pretend. It is cultivated through inner work, through discipline, through clarity. Today, we will not talk about magic. We will talk about mastery. The signs that your energy field, your presence, is becoming strong, stable, and silent. These are not tricks. These are truths. Let us begin. You create peace, not noise. A powerful aura does not announce itself with words. It does not demand attention. It does not chase recognition. Instead, it brings stillness to wherever it goes. When someone with a powerful aura enters a room, you may not even notice them at first. But gradually, your body relaxes, your thoughts slow down, your energy shifts. This is not because they said anything, but because their presence itself communicates something deeper, something your body understands, even if your mind does not. A person who has cultivated their inner life radiates a quiet peace, and this peace is not the absence of conflict. It is not about smiling all the time or avoiding difficult conversations. No, real peace is strength under control. It is the ability to remain centered while everything around you is moving. It is the clarity that comes from knowing yourself, from understanding your emotions, and from choosing not to react from your wounds. People who have not done this inner work are easily disturbed. When someone disagrees with them, they raise their voice. When things do not go their way, they complain. When they feel small, they try to act big. This is noise. And noise always tries to fill space because it cannot tolerate emptiness. But peace is different. Peace is comfortable in silence. Peace needs no defense. You can feel it in the way someone moves. Are their movements rushed, scattered, impatient, or are they intentional, measured, flowing? You can feel it in their breath. Someone at peace breathes fully and deeply. Their chest is open. Their shoulders are relaxed. They are present in their body, not lost in thought, not stuck in the future, not running from the past. When your aura becomes powerful, you stop reacting to every disturbance. You begin to choose your response. If someone insults you, you don't feel the need to prove anything. You understand that their words are a reflection of their state, not of your truth. You don't carry that energy with you. You let it pass, and in doing so, you remain light. It is not weakness to walk away from conflict. It is not passivity to remain calm. On the contrary, it takes great strength to not be pulled into every storm. It takes training to hold your center. A powerful aura is the result of that training. Every time you resist the temptation to argue just to be right, your aura grows. Every time you choose understanding over judgment, your field strengthens. Every time you choose patience when anger arises, you are cultivating peace. Others will feel this. Not everyone will understand it, but they will feel it. Some may be drawn to you, some may feel uncomfortable, not because you are wrong, but because your peace confronts their chaos. Do not be disturbed by this. Your role is not to change others. It is to hold your light, and in that holding you become a mirror. You give others a chance to see themselves more clearly. Your peace is your power. not because it controls others, but because it frees you. You are no longer a puppet to your emotions. You are no longer reactive to the world. You are an island in the middle of a storm. People come to you not because you are loud, but because you are steady. Because in your presence they remember what it feels like to come home to themselves. This is not a quality you are born with, it is a quality you cultivate. It is built in silence, in solitude, in observation. It is refined through hardship, through failure, through sitting with discomfort without needing to escape it. When you learn to sit with yourself without judgment, you become less reactive to others. And when you stop reacting, you begin to radiate, not noise, but peace. You remain grounded in storms. Power is not proven when the sky is clear, it is revealed when the winds rise and the rain begins to fall. In times of ease, everyone seems composed, but when pressure mounts, when expectations fail, when uncertainty strikes, that is when your inner foundation becomes visible. A person with a powerful aura does not escape the storm. They are simply not moved by it in the same way. They remain rooted, calm and aware. To be grounded means to remain connected to your body, your breath, your center, even as emotions surge or chaos unfolds around you. It does not mean you feel nothing. It means that you are not ruled by what you feel. Your anger may rise, your fear may whisper, your sadness may appear, but you do not become those things. You observe them, you breathe into them, and you act, not from impulse, but from clarity. The tree that stands firm in the storm does not fight the wind, it bends, it flows. Its strength is not in rigidity, but in resilience. A powerful person is not someone who dominates the moment, it is someone who understands the moment, accepts the moment, and responds to it with wisdom. The storm will come, it always comes, but when you are deeply rooted in yourself, you are not torn apart by it. You witness the storm, you endure it, you grow from it. Your aura becomes magnetic. When others see that you do not crumble under pressure, people feel it, this stability. They trust it. They want to be near it because it gives them a sense of safety, a sense of order in a world that often feels unpredictable. The way you remain grounded becomes a silent teaching. You do not need to give advice. You do not need to fix anything. Your stillness is enough. It reminds others that they too have this capacity within them. Staying grounded is not a trait that comes from luck or talent. It is the result of practice. It comes from knowing yourself again and again in many different emotional states. It comes from returning to your breath even when the mind wants to run. It comes from facing your fears without collapsing into them. It comes from learning how to stay even when everything in you wants to escape. Some people escape through distraction, others through anger, others through withdrawal. But the grounded person does not escape. They stay present. They feel what is there. And by feeling it completely, they are not overwhelmed by it. The storm loses its grip because it has nothing to pull against. The person has surrendered to the moment, but not lost themselves in it. This is not suppression, it is mastery. To remain grounded is to remember what is true even when the mind forgets. It is to remain aligned with your values, even when your emotions challenge them. It is to keep your posture upright even when your heart is heavy. This is not about acting strong, it is about being sincere. The grounded person is not pretending. They are real, they are fully human, but they are no longer controlled by the surface waves of their experience. They have anchored themselves in something deeper. Others may shout, others may panic, others may demand reaction, But you do not need to respond to that energy. You can pause, you can breathe, you can remain, and from that space of stillness, your actions carry a different weight. They are not reactions, they are our choices. And every time you choose to stay centered in the storm, you strengthen the depth of your aura. You become the calm in the middle of the chaos, and others feel it, even if they don't understand it. Your gaze holds presence. Before words are spoken, before gestures are made, the eyes already speak. They are not just tools for seeing, they are windows into the state of your consciousness. A person who has walked the path inward, who has faced their own confusion, fear, and suffering, does not need to explain themselves. Their eyes carry a certain weight, a quiet depth. When you look into their gaze, you do not see performance, you see presence. Most people look, but they do not see. They observe, but they are not truly present. Their gaze is restless, shifting from place to place, searching for something to hold on to. Often their eyes are filled with tension or distraction or the need to be seen rather than the ability to see. This is the difference. A powerful aura is not only felt in movement or in voice, but in the stillness behind the eyes. That stillness communicates safety, awareness, and intention. When a person's gaze is rooted in presence, it is not invasive, it is not controlling. It does not seek to dominate or impress. It simply meets you where you are. It does not need to analyze you, it accepts you. There is no rush in that gaze, no judgment, no expectation. And that absence of tension allows others to drop theirs. To look into the eyes of such a person is to feel seen without being evaluated. It is to feel noticed without being exposed. But how does such a gaze develop? Not by avoiding the self, not by pretending to be calm or spiritual or strong. It comes from honest observation, from sitting in silence with your own mind again and again. It comes from facing your fears when they arise, from breathing through discomfort, from learning to witness thoughts and emotions without being pulled into their stories. That kind of inner work gradually softens the eyes. It removes the masks. It reveals something raw but steady. You can sense when someone's gaze is distracted by internal noise. Their attention is split between who they are and who they think they should be, between what they feel and what they want others to see. Their eyes flicker, they retreat, or they seek to control. But someone who is inwardly quiet does not chase or avoid. Their gaze rests. It does not search for validation because it no longer doubts its own presence. This quiet assurance makes others feel safe. Not because the person offers answers, but because they offer attention. Presence cannot be faked. You may learn to copy the words, the movements, even the posture of a calm person, but the eyes will always reveal the truth. The gaze does not lie. That is why, in many traditions, the eyes are considered sacred. Not because of what they see, but because of what they carry. When your inner world becomes still, the eyes become clear. When your attention returns to the now, your gaze reflects that peace. In moments of tension, you can train this awareness. Instead of reacting, pause, breathe, bring your attention back into your body. Feel your feet, feel your breath. Then look again, not to control the other, but to be fully with them. When you offer your gaze from a place of presence, it becomes a gift. It invites connection without pressure. It becomes an open space, not a demand. The powerful aura begins with inner alignment, and your gaze is the first expression of that alignment. People feel when they are truly being seen, not looked at, but seen. And in a world where most people feel invisible, your presence becomes rare, not because of what you say, but because of how you see. You attract without chasing. The sun does not need to move through the sky asking flowers to bloom. It simply shines and life responds. The candle does not chase the darkness. It holds its place and allows the light to do what it naturally does. In the same way, a powerful aura draws others not through effort, persuasion, or performance, but through quiet alignment with its own nature. When you are rooted in your truth, you do not need to seek. You become magnetic. To chase is to believe something is missing. It is to assume that what you need lies outside of you and that you must reach for it, grasp at it, convince it to stay. But anything that is grasped out of fear becomes unstable. The more you chase, the more what you chase moves away, the more you need to prove your worth, the more you disconnect from your presence. People may hear your words, but they do not feel your depth. Attraction begins not with appearance, but with energy. It begins with the way you hold yourself in your own skin. It begins with how comfortable you are in your silence. The aura that attracts is not loud. It is stable. It is the result of someone who no longer depends on validation to feel whole. You stop needing to impress when you are no longer afraid of being overlooked. You stop performing when you are no longer afraid of being misunderstood. And in that state, your very presence becomes a signal, not to everyone but to those who are tuned to your frequency. The paradox of power is this: the less you try to control outcomes, the more influence you carry. When you are centered, your energy no longer leaks outward. It gathers, it strengthens, it deepens. And others feel that. They may not know why they are drawn to you, why they want to hear you speak or be around you, but they feel a kind of nourishment in your presence. That nourishment comes from your wholeness. From the quiet message your being sends, I am already enough. This does not mean you do not act or pursue goals or initiate conversations. It means you do not act from desperation. You do not confuse movement with meaning. You move when movement is aligned. You speak when words are needed. You reach when reaching is natural. But behind it all is a stillness, a quiet inner assurance that does not depend on reaction. That is what makes your presence felt. Attraction is not about gaining attention. It is about embodying truth. When you are clear on who you are, what you value, and what you will not compromise, your boundaries become strong and your energy becomes clean. There is no longer contradiction between what you say and what you carry. That inner consistency is rare, and people can sense it immediately. They may not call it aura, but they feel peace, safety, or inspiration in your presence. You do not chase people, you do not chase status, you do not chase love. Instead, you remove the blocks that prevent your natural radiance from being seen. You let go of the noise that clouds your own vision. And what remains is something real, not created, but uncovered. This is not passive. It is powerful. It is the strength of the mountain that does not move to be noticed, yet stands unshaken and is revered. It is the softness of water that does not announce its arrival, yet nourishes all it touches. When you attract without chasing, you begin to live in a different rhythm. You no longer hurry. You no longer compete. You no longer seek to win attention because you are no longer afraid of being alone. In your stillness, you become full. In your fullness, you become magnetic. You practice silence more than noise. In a world that celebrates volume, speed, and conscious expression, silence is often mistaken for absence. But silence is not emptiness. Silence is space. and in that space, everything essential can arise. A person with a powerful aura is not the one who speaks the most, but the one who speaks the least and yet leaves the deepest impression. It is not because of how many words they offer, but because of the energy behind their words. Energy that is cultivated in silence. Noise is easy. It is everywhere. Thoughts moving in every direction, people talking without listening, opinions thrown around without reflection. But noise cannot penetrate deeply. It fills the surface, but leaves the core untouched. Silence, on the other hand, has depth. It is not just the absence of sound, it is the presence of awareness. It is the presence of awareness. It is the space in which clarity appears, where understanding unfolds, where energy gathers. A person who practices silence becomes someone who moves from that center. The one who is always speaking, always reacting, always needing to be heard, is often avoiding something, avoiding inner discomfort, avoiding emptiness, avoiding uncertainty. But a powerful person is not afraid of the quiet. They welcome it. They sit in it. They learn from it. In silence, you begin to see yourself. You begin to see the automatic patterns that drive you. You begin to feel the emotions that were too quiet to be noticed before. And by meeting those moments fully, you begin to dissolve the noise within you. When you reduce the inner noise, your external expression becomes powerful. Your words are no longer scattered. They are no longer a reaction to the world. They are an offering to it. You no longer speak because you are uncomfortable with silence. You speak because you have something true to share. And even when you say nothing, people still listen because they can feel that your silence is not emptiness. It is presence. The silent person is not the one who has nothing to say. It is the one who knows that not everything needs to be said. That truth has its own time, that wisdom has its own rhythm. This person listens more than they speak. They observe more than they assume. They absorb the room before they enter it with their voice, and when they do speak, it is measured, intentional, and clear. Their silence before the words gives those words strength. To practice silence is not only about not speaking. It is about practicing restraint in all forms of expression. Holding back the need to comment. Letting go of the urge to explain yourself. Observing your own emotional impulse before acting on it. Letting others speak without inserting your opinion. Sitting with discomfort without trying to resolve it instantly. This level of self-control creates inner freedom. It sharpens your perception. It refines your attention. It strengthens your presence. A powerful aura is not built in conversation. It is built in solitude. In walks where you are alone with your breath, in mornings where you sit in stillness and watch the thoughts pass. In choosing not to respond to every trigger, in recognizing that your energy is sacred and that not every situation deserves a piece of it. The more you practice silence, the more you begin to hear the voice beneath all voices. The voice of intuition, the voice of insight, the voice of alignment. When people meet someone who carries this silence, they feel it instantly. They may not describe it as silence, they may call it calm or depth or power, but what they are truly feeling is someone who is no longer running from the stillness within themselves, someone who has faced the inner noise and moved beyond it. This type of person does not need to impress you. They are already at peace with themselves, and because of that, you feel safe in their presence. So a powerful aura is not about appearing strong, it is about becoming aligned. It is not something you wear, it is something you embody. Presence, stillness, grounded energy, and silent awareness, these are not performances, but practices. You do not chase power, you cultivate it, moment by moment, breath by breath. And when your inner world becomes clear, the outer world begins to reflect that clarity. Walk your path with intention. Breathe deeply, move with awareness. And let your aura speak, not louder, but deeper. Thank you for your presence. The path continues.